Thank you for that nice welcome. Firstly, let me say how pleased I am to walk onto a hard rock stage without having to do a full band sound check. It's a new experience for me.
It's not too late.
Yeah. I wish to thank each and every member of the DEMA board for this award. It is truly a great honor. And especially I'd like to thank Dawn, Johnny, and Carl for their great video. It's very pleased to see that. I'd also like to congratulate Lad on his award. I noted in the program that there were a record number of nominations this year, and I'm particularly pleased that DEMA have chosen to recognize the efforts of Lad and I, who both toil in the trenches of the non-profit sector of the industry. Now, nobody ever received this award based solely on their own work, and I'm going to take some time to recognize some of the people whose support and guidance over the last half a century have led me to this place at this time. It's taken me almost 7 decades to get to this podium, and I may never get another chance to publicly thank these folks. So I beg your indulgence for a few minutes. And as some of the people on this stage a couple of years may have said, all you need is a little patience. Yeah. My diving journey began in Singapore in the 1960s, and I'd like to thank John Morgan, Jim Carr, Larry Finley, David Ketcher, Mitch Erner, Pete Boothroyd, Des Schwepp, Ron Moon, and especially Eric Bennett for their friendship and support during that formative time. As you saw in the video, part of my life's adventure was spent pursuing my other passion, modern music. And it was only by fulfilling my ambitions in the music industry that I was able to leave Hollywood and pursue my career in diving. So my sincere thanks go to my longtime friend and musical associate, Al Cooper with a K. Al founded Blood, Sweat and Tears, discovered and signed and recorded Leonard Skinner, cut Freebird with them, cut Sweet Home Alabama, and others, played keyboards on Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone, and registered many other notable career achievements. Al was my mentor during the early days of my musical career, and I owe him a great deal. It was through working with Al that I got to meet many of his friends who had influenced my career, such as B.B. King, George Harrison, Roy Orbison, Bob Dylan, Crosby, Stills, and Jackson Browne. Al also introduced me to producer Mike Klink, who I later teamed up with and got to work with some of the major rock bands of the 80s. You saw some of the covers there. But our days with Guns N' Roses were not exactly our days of wine and roses, and it was all a great adventure and an educational experience, but when it was time to leave, I had no regrets, and I returned to a life of diving. My career is closely associated with the Historical Diving Society, and I would like to recognize in England Nick Baker, who had the original idea for starting the society. It wasn't me. A lot of people think it was. It wasn't. There was a guy in England called Nick Baker, and he deserves continued credit for that. Now, there are literally hundreds of people who assisted the HDS and myself, but I cannot name everyone. I thus apologize in advance to all those I cannot thank by name, but I would like to acknowledge a few key people tonight. Firstly, Skip Dunham for co-founding the society with me in 1992. Phil Hawes, my attorney, for guiding me through the non-profit maze. The founding board of directors of the society, Torrance Parker, Scrap Lundy, Ron Carlson, Steve Shapiro, Lisa Glenn Ryan, and Mike von Alvenslaven. Additionally, for their support in developing the society, I'm particularly indebted to many people, some of who are here tonight. Ed Euditis, the first person to associate with me in diving history, Dan and Betty Orr, Dr. Sylvia Earle, Sid Macken, Niall Mundy, Jeff Dennis, Bob Woolers, who was with Paddy at that time, the fantastic keeper of the flame for diving history in America, Nick Eichhorn, Weiland, who still supports us, Andre Galern, my colleagues in San Francisco, Ken and Sue Brown, my colleague in Santa Maria, Bonnie Cardone, Lad Hadelman, Gene Webb, the late Kent Rockwell, Bob Hollis of Oceanic, Greg Platt, Andy Lentz, Steve Kushner, Steve Barsky, who recently left the industry, Buddy Ayers, Tim Beaver, Ryan Spence, Darren Jones, and my new partner on the magazine, Bonnie Toth, and her chorus of Women Divers Hall of Fame friends. Now, I note that I've been given this award in part for my service to industry growth, and compared to many other sporting activities, our industry is very young. It has grown fast. Most of what has happened in my lifetime, and all of it has happened in Stan Waterman's lifetime. This year, DEMA celebrates its 40th anniversary. PADI celebrates its 50th anniversary. The Cayman Islands diving industry celebrates its 60th anniversary. And this year, La Technique, the company that made the original aqualung, celebrates its 70th anniversary. In growing the recreational diving industry, it's been an international phenomenon, and I would like to thank the following international divers for their research and support. Peter Jackson, Colin Taylor, Peter Dick, and the late Sir John Rawlins in England, Philippe Rousseau and Daniel Mercier and the late Henri Deleuze in France, Ron and Valerie Taylor, Rodney Fox, Bob Ramsey, and Peter Katz in Australia, Edward Kwok in Hong Kong, Clement Lee in Borneo, John Tett and Darren Brunton in Singapore, Dave Moran and Ivor Howitt in New Zealand, Giancarlo and Letizia Bartoli in Italy, David Decker and Jan de Groot in Holland, Sami Ozil in Spain, Alexander Sledkov and Svetlana Moroshinka in Russia, Franz Rothburst, Dietmar Fuchs in Germany, Mike Lever from Nautilus in Canada, Nishiwa Shigeko in Japan, Manuel Escargo in Mexico, and the late Jack Levanchi in Switzerland. I'd also especially like to end by recognizing the following individuals. My film festival and Great White Shark partner, Ed Stetson, for his loyalty and friendship. Thank you, Ed. Drew Richardson and his team at PADI that have supported me from the beginning in diving history. Joanne, Maria, Zig, Bob, and all the team at Beneath the Sea in New York. My friends, Krov Menuhin, Ernie Brooks, Laurent Ballester, Dietmar Fuchs, and all the Blancpain team involved in the Hans Haas Award, and in particular, my good friend Michael Young of the Hans Haas Institute in Germany. My good friend Bev Morgan in Santa Barbara for his early and continuing support, which helped establish the HDS in commercial and military circles. My friends tonight, Lisa Liskey, Carl Rossler, and Ernie Brooks, who are the patrons of the Historical Diving Society, for their devotion, professionalism, ethics, and their amazing commitment of time and resources to the HDS. Bob Kirby, Don Barthelmess, Ed Casano, and Greg Gorga, and our team at the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum. Rosa, Onisha, Anik, Gary, Tom, Jeff, Jay, Tammy, Ronnie, Barbara, Cassie, Ayana, Tom Ingram, Keith Sam, Captain Chucky, Rog McDowell, and all the team at the International Scuba Diving Hall of Fame. And finally, my mentors, my personal giants, each of who have unfortunately passed on. My initial mentor was the American master diver E.R. Cross. He was joined later by Dr. Andreas Rechnitzer, and finally Dr. Christian Lambertson. As we're dealing with the 70s, they were each the master, and I was definitely the grasshopper. My inspiration for this great adventure, as seen in the video, was Professor Hans Haas, the pioneer of pioneers, who later in his career befriended me and invited me to be his partner for the remainder of his adventure. I dedicate this award to him, his wife Lottie, and to my mother, who opened nature's door for me. I also dedicate it to all the people who have assisted me in building the HDS and the International Scuba Diving Hall of Fame, and I did not get a chance to acknowledge them tonight. I would not be here if it were not for your contributions, so thank you very much. And thirdly, I dedicate this award to my family, Jill, Vanessa, and David, and to anyone who, like me, had the course of their life changed by this wonderful sport that takes us from our homes and our offices and immerses us in our blue planet. Thank you all for your attendance. You've been a very respectful audience. I appreciate it. Your kind attention, and thank you again for the DEMA board for this significant career recognition. Happy birthday, DEMA. Our adventure continues. Thank you.